So welcome to Think and Thrive here at Sunmark School. This initiative is designed to connect students with industry leaders. Today, I would like to welcome Mr. Basil Ayass, the head of Google Cloud Public Sector, and our moderator for today is one of our many talented Year 10 students, Myra. I now turn it over to you, Myra.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Myra, and I'm delighted to welcome you all to our Think and Thrive session. Today, we're joined by an inspiring leader from the world of technology, Mr. Basil Ayass. He's been the head of Google Cloud Public Sector, and with over 20 years of experience of driving business growth in the Middle East and Africa, he's worked with top global tech companies, led regional teams, and stayed ahead of the curve in digital innovation. In today's conversation, we'll chat about how technology and AI is shaping the future and the skills students need for tomorrow's careers, and the key lessons Mr. Ayass has picked up along his career. So will you all please join me in giving a very warm welcome to Mr. Basil Ayass. To start off, could you tell us a little about your journey and what first sparked your interest in technology?
Wow, what sparked my interest in technology? To be honest, I think many of you can relate. It was video gaming. Anybody plays video games? Eddie? Yeah. So as a young student at school, my father got me something called the Commodore 64. Look it up. It's in museums. It was like one of the first computers that you can actually bring home and turn on and use. It had no mouse, but the screen only showed text. So you had to type, almost code into it. And I bought my games. They used to come on like floppy disks and you put them in. And as I typed and learned how to turn on and use my games, I got really intrigued at technology. It sparked something in me. When I went to university, I'm like, I want to learn how this is built. How can I type something on a keyboard and it'll make things happen? So I did computer engineering. I've always loved Lego and robots and coding and software. And that's how I got into tech. I learned later on that technology isn't only about math and physics and code, but it can actually change people's lives. It can make your life better. It can save lives. And that's what has kept me in it for so long.
And what did you imagine your career would look like when you were in school? And how different is it from where you are today?
Yeah. So you've all seen the movies, you've all watched the shows. A career in tech is always a person holed up in a dark space, very similar to this space, in their parents' basement, typing away at keyboards, drinking a lot of coffee and being basically a nerd or a geek, right? So that's what I wanted to be. I was like, wow, that's inspiring. I want to type away. But what I found out quickly, as soon as I graduated university, I did a 1-year job for a company called Nortel Networks. And it was about coding. I had to code an algorithm for network optimization of traffic. 1 year, I was behind a computer, and I hated it. I spent my whole life studying at school and graduating university so I can become a computer engineer, and I hate it. I don't want to be stuck behind a computer my whole life. So I failed fast. I quickly realized that my career, coding, is not going to be fulfilling. So I decided to pivot, and I went and studied business, and then I got a career in tech, but driven by business, by sales and marketing. And that has been able to, when you pivot, a lot of people think fail fast. It's a failure. But at the end of the day, a failure is data to optimize. So I think of it as setting the right pillars for a career of success rather than getting stuck because of sunk cost. Because I invested this many years in studying computers, therefore I need to spend the rest of my life doing computers.
And I think it's evident to say that you know quite a lot about coding. And what's your opinion on new apps such as Base 44 that are probably revolutionizing coding. Do you have any opinions on that?
Of course, I think AI is an amazing technology that is democratizing the access to coding. So in the past, you need to study many years to learn lots of weird syntax, learn a new language so you can code. Now, with AI, if you can speak, and to be honest, it doesn't have to be English. In the past, coding has always been very English-driven. So it allowed people in the English-speaking world to code, but people that don't speak English are very difficult to get to coding. So now you don't even need to speak English. Any language you speak, AI can translate that and make code for you. You can build programs and build the next technological solution just with vibe coding, speaking to code. So I love it.
And what does your role as a head of Google Cloud involve on a day-to-day basis?
Okay, day-to-day, spend a lot of time on planes, in the office, at home, and at customer sites. So that's the where. The what internally is problem solving, motivating, leading, and strategizing. So coming up with a strategy, which country do we go to next? Who do we hire? Who do we not only who do we want to hire, but which people do we need to hire? So we do a lot of interviews. And then problem solving, escalations that come up. This is the internal part of the job, which quite frankly, I don't enjoy. The external part of the job is meeting with government officials, meeting with large customers, airlines, telcos, hospitals, healthcare, and explaining to them and convincing them that this massive scale of Google technology can be used to help you deliver better services to your employees, to your suppliers, and to your customers. And in government's sake, it's better services to the citizen and the residents of your country. And that is what drives me. I love seeing the spark in their eyes when they're like, aha, I get it now.
And how do you see the technology industry evolving over the next 5 to 10 years?
Okay, anybody that claims to be an oracle and a fortune teller and can tell into the future, they're lying to you. That's lesson number one. But we can guess, right? Technology has the acceleration in progress of technology has grown tremendously. There's a law, I'm not sure they teach it at school yet, called Moore's Law. Have you guys heard of it? Anybody heard of it? No? Okay. Moore's Law says that every 18 months, the transistors in a computer, in a CPU, in a processor, can double in density. And Moore said this in 1960-something, and we're now 2026, and it's still true. Every 18 months, every year and a half, the transistors double. So that doubling gives you an ability to do much faster, much better, much deeper compute capability. So I think with the rise in AI, we are moving away from a world driven by humans having to adapt to technology. And what I mean by that is, you go to a website, you have to figure out how the website is structured, click, 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 and find what you want. We're moving away from search to synthesis. So we go to google.com and we search for something. And then we have to search, click, 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 and find the information that we need. We're moving away from that to a world where, imagine there are no websites. Imagine there are no chatbots. Imagine where technology adapts to you rather than you adapting to the technology. What do I mean by that? There are no forms for you to fill out. You guys, does anybody enjoy filling out forms?
No.
Why? It's horrible, right? Somebody decides, here's a form, fill it out. You want to reserve a table at a restaurant for the weekend for your family to go to. You have to fill out a form. You want to apply for a visa, you need to fill out a form. You need to reserve a ticket on Emirates, you need to fill out a form. Yeah, imagine a world where you can just say, I want a ticket. I'm flying to Amsterdam next week. What are the costs? And then boom, it's there. You click yes, I like it. It gives you 3 options. You click on the option that you like and boom, your ticket is issued. Because it knows your name. It knows your passport number. It knows your date of birth. How many times, you guys are still young, but I'm a bit older. And I'm just that tired of filling out my date of birth on every single piece of paper or form I come across. Technology should know this information about me and doesn't need to keep asking me. So technology will start adapting to us rather than us adapting to the technology.
So you mentioned stuff about data, for example, your date of birth. And I want to ask, what role do companies like Google play in shaping the responsible and ethical use of AI?
Government usually are the ones that regulate, right? So give you an example. There's an organization in the UAE called KHDA. They regulate education. So they make sure that Sunmark is delivering a teaching and a learning environment for you that meets the level and the standard of the UAE. And they make sure that this education is world-class and positions us in a world where our students can deliver, can create, can be successful for the future. So government usually regulates private industry because private industry, when left to its own, means they often want to optimize profit and grow revenue. Unfortunately, with AI, it's moving so quickly that technology isn't being regulated. They haven't moved fast enough. The governments aren't fast enough. The UAE has done a fantastic job, but globally, there isn't enough regulation. So it falls upon the companies like Google and other AI players to regulate themselves. We say BBB, but it's bold but responsible. So at Google, we believe that we need to be bold. We don't issue new technology and make it available just because we can. We make sure that it's helpful to humanity. We make sure that we do no evil. That's one of our mottos. And we test it for safety and privacy before we make it available. So yes, be bold, but be responsible. Lead with integrity. Make sure that technology is serving humanity, not putting it in danger.
And from your experience, what separates companies that successfully innovate from those that struggle to adapt?
Oh, I love that question. That's my favorite question. Because some companies struggle to innovate. They hold on to this is how we've done it. So whenever you go to any company and they tell you, well, this is how we do things, and they're not ready to transform, they are in trouble because they will be usurped. They will be disrupted when technology moves. And technology has continued throughout the ages to improve. So there was first there were the horse and carriage, right? And then the engine was created and cars were invented. And companies that made horse carriages, guess what happened to them? They ran out of business. Few of them transferred to making cars, but most of them went out of business. So when a company decides and focuses on how we do business, how being the key word there, they're doomed for failure, in my opinion. When a company focuses on why we do business, then their fate is success. So when you think of your own careers, also think of, I don't care about how I do my job or how I do on my exam, but why? What's the impact? And if I focus on impact, I'll be successful. I'm going to give you an example. I know it's a long answer, but this is my favorite question. The example is, at Google, we started as a search company. And if we said, oh, this is how we do business, we do search, there wouldn't be a Google Cloud. There wouldn't be Waymo, who are doing self-driving cars. There wouldn't be YouTube that's doing video. There wouldn't be Android that's powering your mobile phones. There wouldn't be Google Translate that allows you to translate languages in real time. We'd be stuck in search. And soon enough, guess what? With AI, what's going to happen to search? It's a dying industry. But you need to continue transforming. Amazon started with books. And if they stuck to books, how many of you read paper-bound books, real books? Few shy hands, yes? Because we don't read books anymore, right? But if Amazon stuck to paper books, they would have been out of business a long, long time ago. But then they moved to ebooks, and then they moved to e-commerce, and now they have Amazon Cloud. So companies need to adapt with technology and keep changing.
Honestly, I couldn't agree with your thinking. I want to ask, having worked across the Middle East and Africa, how do regional markets differ in their approach to technology adoption?
Yeah, so the regional markets are very different. We're very lucky. I'll speak about the UAE and we can generalize to the Gulf. Globally, usually what happens is innovation and technology is driven by private companies and the government regulates and follows. This is why when you go back to your home countries, if you're not from the UAE, you see queues at the airport, you see a slow process to get your passport, to apply for a driving license. You're at the age of applying for a driving license, right? Plus, minus, yes?
Yes.
So the great thing about the UAE is that the government leads by example, and they are ahead of many other, most governments around the world by digitizing. So everything is done online. Everything is an app on your phone. Everything can be accessed through paying your fines, getting your driving license, renewing your residency. It's all online. We are very lucky because government in the Gulf is leading technological change. If we look at Africa and Levant, it's not the government as much. It's mostly, they lead by education. They really think of how can we educate the next generation so they can innovate and help us leapfrog. Because when you don't have a lot of legacy holding you back, investments in certain technologies, it's easy for you to leapfrog. And what I mean by leapfrog is, let me give you an example. So credit cards and bank accounts. You know that most Africans do not have a credit card or a bank account. But how do they transact? How do they live? How do they buy? What they do is they use their phone. Their phone is their bank account. And when they go to a shop, they pay using their phone and the balance goes out. When I owe you money, I transfer money to your phone and you can transfer money to my phone. So because they didn't have the legacy of bank accounts and credit cards, when the smartphone technology came about, they said, oh, let's use that for banking. And they skipped that whole world of brick and mortar banks. And they went straight to phones as banks. Now, in the developing world, we're starting to move that way with Apple Pay and Samsung Pay and Google Pay. But yeah, it's amazing the power of technology to enable you to leapfrog if you're behind, because you're not stuck to how we do business, you're able to adopt new ways of doing business.
And as someone who's seen so many markets, been so adapted to technology, what skills do you believe will become more valuable as automation and AI continue to grow?
What skills? All right. So reading, writing, and arithmetics. Have you guys heard that? That was what education was all about. You need to learn how to read, to write, and do math. And then, as you grow in school, the sciences come in, physics and biology and history. I think the world is shifting, and it's because AI is going to know everything. It's going to know how to code. It's going to know about the science. It's going to know about business. It's going to know about advertising. It's going to know about anything you need to learn or you have learned at school from an academic perspective. AI is going to be able to deliver it to you. And right now it's available on your phone, but in the future you can think of it, maybe it's an earpiece in your ear, maybe it's embedded in your brain, maybe it's embedded in your cornea. But AI, you're going to have access to knowledge. What you're not going to have access to is how do you communicate? How do you understand your audience? How do you influence decision-making? How do you come up with creative ideas? How do you lead? How do you motivate? How do you, be respectful? How do you lead with integrity? Those are the kind of values that we're going to have to rely on humans to do, because we cannot guarantee with the current technology AI to do. So AI is going to bring you the knowledge. And I really love the way Sunmark approaches their education ethos in focusing not only on, reading, writing, arithmetics and science and all that, but they also focus on building character and leading with value. because that is going to be the great success factor of the future.
Thank you so much for sharing those insights. Now let's have a fun, quick-fire rapid round. So
Uh-oh.
if you're going to have no overthinking, just say the first word that comes to your brains. Google search or asking AI?
Asking AI, 100%.
One habit you never compromise on?
One habit, dinner with family. Very important.
Teleportation or invisibility?
Definitely teleportation, only if to beat the Dubai traffic.
One word to describe the future of technology?
Human.
One skill every student should master before 25?
Ooh. Communication. I'm going to change that. Can I change that?
Go for it.
Self-awareness.
Could you
Can I, yeah. So I think a lot of times we don't know who we are. We just assume we know because we've been told by our teachers, by our parents, by our society leaders. But knowing what drives you, what you're passionate about, is, I think, going to be the critical skill to success in the future.
And how would you encourage that in societies?
Reading, exploring, traveling. The more you try new things, the more curious you are, the more you're going to be able to find out what really is going to drive you. Because I see so many people, have you heard of the midlife crisis? So many people get into careers, they do them for 10, 20, 30 years, and then like, oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? And then they go buy a sports car, get divorced, get depressed, or do something else. Without getting too philosophical, it's important, if you find your passion, your job becomes your passion, and then you don't need to balance work and life. There is no work-life balance. Your work becomes your life, and your life becomes your work. And passion. Find yourself, find your passion.
And I know you said your work is your life, but what's the best way to reset yourself after a busy week?
Paddle. I do a lot of paddle in JVT. You know, we have some courts around here. So I play with our neighbors and let out all the stress on the ball, not the human.
School subject you secretly enjoyed most?
Ooh. On LinkedIn, I call myself the extroverted nerd. So at school, I was shy of being the nerd or the geek because I loved math. But yeah, now I embrace that identity. I love being a nerd, and I think it sets me apart and makes me unique. So yeah, I'm the extroverted nerd that secretly loved math and physics.
Most surprising use of AI you've seen?
Saving lives. Like, AI was cute when it was like a chat bot. Oh, I can ask it a question. Oh, it can write my assignment for me. But when I started seeing how AI can use satellite images of Earth to predict earthquakes before they arrive, or to predict floods before they arrive and save people's lives, that blew my mind away.
And one word your team would use to describe you?
I already said extroverted nerd. I'll say passionate.
Future tech you're most excited about?
Ooh, quantum computing.
Could you expand more on what that is?
Have you heard about quantum computing?
Not really.
Okay, so throughout history, we've used discrete computing. What does that mean? Ones and zeros. Quantum computing is a new technology that's coming up that removes that limitation of ones and zeros. So it will drastically, unequivocally, fantastically speed up computing to a world where you can never imagine. So I was speaking to a professor, and he once told me, you know, we've been trained as researchers, as scientists, to ask questions that can be answered. And what I mean by can be answered, the technology is available today to be able to answer this question, whether it's an hour or a week or a month. I can run the algorithm on my computer and I will get the answer. With quantum computing, it opens up the world where you can get the answer that usually takes hundreds of years. Like, imagine you have a question that will take 100 years today to solve with today's computer. You can ask the quantum computing and it will solve it in a second. So he said something that stuck with me. With quantum computing, it's not that they're going to give me the answer faster. It's that I'm going to ask a different question, because these questions weren't even capable of being asked. Like, how do we solve cancer? Nobody asks that question because it's impossible. It will take you hundreds and thousands of years to solve. But with a quantum computer, you're able to ask completely different kind of questions that will be answered much quicker.
And now for this part, you can take your time and think about these. What mindset should students adopt to stay relevant in a fast-changing, AI-driven world?
Okay, I did some homework, I have to admit. Changemaker. I saw that on the Sunmark website and I loved it. Because we live in a world that technology is changing. You know, in the past it was on an annual basis, every 18 months, there's a new announcement. Now with AI, I can't keep up. Like, it's every week, there are 3, 4, 5 huge announcements that are happening. So lifelong learning, being curious. We graduate from school. I know you guys are end of your school careers. And a lot of students think, oh, I'm done with studying. Oh, I have a few years at university and then I'm done. You're not going to be done. You have to stay curious. You have to seek learning to stay relevant in the fast world that we live in.
And lastly, if you could leave the students with one piece of advice that they remember long after today, what would it be?
Whew, that's a deep one. You know, they were telling me earlier, the other Think and Thrive speakers, and I was like, whoa, the bar is set high. So what's one piece of advice that you can leave with today? You know, I touched upon it earlier. You know, when I shared my story, I always thought I wanted to be a coder. I worked 6 years at university throughout my whole school career. And when I started coding, I realized, ooh, this is not fun. This is not me. I want to meet people. I want to talk. I want to laugh. I want to joke. I want to change minds. I want to look in your eye and spark new ideas. So the one thing that I'll leave you with is be self-aware. Understand what gets you out of bed, what you truly enjoy doing, and then do it. And do it in different roles, do it in different places, and realize that, okay, my whole life I thought of myself as I saw so many textile, I don't know what's going on at Sunmark, but you have beautiful, fashionable textiles all around the school, right? I don't know if any of you have worked on those projects, but those are amazing, right? Like, I've always thought of myself as a fashion designer. I love fashion design. And my suggestion is, okay, great. Get an internship, get close, get to know some fashion designers, become friends, try it out yourself, see if it truly creates that passion and drive in you. And if it does, great. But if it doesn't, don't be scared to pivot, to change. A lot of time, I feel people realize this way too late in their lives. Like, they hit 30, they hit 40, and they're like, why am I a lawyer? I don't like law. And it's like, don't feel we are empowered with so much technology today that instantly you can switch careers. Instantly you can change countries. Instantly you can become extroverted or introverted, or do a training and learn more about math or coding or physics or astronomy or whatever it is that excites you. So never shut the door. Be curious, be passionate, learn about your strengths and weaknesses, pursue those, and never ever be afraid to shift gears and pivot.
I don't think you could have answered that question any better, honestly. So I would just like to say thank you so much for being here, sharing your journey, and giving us a fascinating insight into the world of AI, cloud technology, and digital leadership. Your perspectives on innovation, continuous learning, and the future of work helps us understand what future will look like with technology. And we've gained valuable insights from your leadership, and we're grateful to learn from your experiences. Thank you for coming tonight and inspiring the students here.
Thank you. I want to, before you clap, just a huge round of applause for Myra. Like, she did a fantastic job. And I really enjoyed the questions, well prepared, great delivery. I really enjoyed this. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you both. That was an amazing session. To end the session, we're going to have a Q&A. So if you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand and we'll start that right now. Thanks.
In regards to recent controversy surrounding AI, what is your personal view on the integration of AI in workplaces, schools, and like the general daily lives of humans? Like, do you believe it will be a stepping stone for digital innovation in the future, or a hindrance for society?
Oh, great question. I'm definitely on the side of stepping stone for advancement to the future. AI, I know there's a lot of talk about the ethics of introducing AI in an education setting, especially when you're dealing with children, non-adults, right? But I believe you need to adopt and immerse yourself with AI today. And if you don't, you're going to be quickly out of touch with the world. The reward far outweigh the risks. And if you do it ethically, in a guided manner, with your educators, with your teachers, with your parents, guidance, then AI can help a lot. I don't know if I'm sure you've heard this story. So when the calculator was invented, schools and universities hated the calculator and they banned it. You're not allowed to come into school with a calculator or in a university with a calculator because the calculator was seen as a device that enables you to cheat. Because you can type the question and it gives you the answer, right? But with time, society realized that we need to work with the calculator. The calculator enables us to do calculations much faster, enables us to be more efficient, and enables us to save our brain power rather than sitting there and doing multiplication of 5-digit numbers and spending 10 minutes to come up with the answer. I can just do it quickly on a calculator. Same with computers, and now same with AI. I think AI is still at the level of, oh, is this cheating? And I have a great example of some great educators and teachers that actually encourage students to use AI to submit their assignments. But the idea is that, okay, write an essay on Romeo and Juliet, I don't know, right? Go to AI and ask it to write the essay and submit that as first draft. Then check what it wrote and make sure that it's true because AI can hallucinate. Reference the document and submit that as the corrected, grounded, non-hallucinated draft. Third, go in and add your personal touch, add your personal tone, add your voice. So we are not teaching you how to write an essay on Romeo and Juliet, because guess what? In the future, that's going to be done for you. But we're teaching you how to interact with AI in the most productive, most safe manner. And I think AI is set to do that for you. So yes, AI is good.
So what role do you think creativity will play in a future where AI already generates content and ideas?
Yes, correct. So I said creativity when you ask me about the future skills. And a lot of times I get this answer, but hey, wait a minute, we can go and, I posted on LinkedIn last week with the Abu Dhabi government, we ran a contest using AI to create a film. And there were like thousands of submissions around the world because the reward for the best film was $1 million. And a Tunisian director won the $1 million. And he created this film 100% by AI. And it's on my LinkedIn. You know my name. Look it up. It's amazing. It's called Lila. Lila. It's a film. Is there a Lila in the room? What? Are you his daughter? No? Okay. So he created this film using AI. And a lot of people say, well, wait a minute, I can create films using AI. I can create ads using AI. But guess what? AI is not being creative. AI is taking your prompt and turning it into a picture or a movie or an audio or a podcast. So the creativity is in the input to the AI, not so much the output. So yes, you need to be creative because this AI, for now, can't think for itself, can't come up with creative ideas. You need to prompt it. You need to tell it the idea of Leela and the idea of how this movie is going to progress and what scene we're going to open with and what scene we're going to close with and how the arc. AI is going to help you with all of that. It's going to create the dialogue. It's going to create the script. It might also create the movie angles. But you still need that human element to input the AI with creative ideas to come up with a movie that moves people and wins awards. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. One thing that you said that's still staying with me is that tech is becoming increasingly more human. You didn't elaborate on this. Can you?
Yeah, that was a fast. I tried to keep it short, but she told me, what's the one word that describes the future of tech? And a lot of people are worried. You know, I went to the X Space earlier, and as soon as you walk into the X Space, oh, you guys, it's primary school, right? But you know the X Space, the STEAM lab? As soon as you walk in, what's on the left? Like this huge robot, right? So a lot of people think that the future of technology, and you've seen the YouTube videos of these Elon Musk robots or the Boston Dynamic robots, you know, the little dogs that run, or the Chinese robots now that are doing Kung Fu. Those are super cool. But everybody thinks, oh, the future of technology is going to be robots and it's going to be AI. And let me try to remember. What's the movie? Oh, I forgot. Anybody know the cartoon where humanity goes on a spaceship? WALL-E. Thank you very much for reminding me of the name. Have you seen WALL-E?
Yeah.
WALL-E is an incredible movie, but it shows that the future of humanity is that we live on a spaceship in these like wheelchairs with a big drink and a screen being fed entertainment. Because humans have no role to play in the future anymore. The world is governed by robots and AI. You have to watch it. It's an unbelievable classic. So a lot of people think that the future of humanity is consuming entertainment and let AI and robots do our jobs. But I believe that the future of humanity, which is why I said human, is that we will adapt. There was a song called Video Killed the Radio Star. I suck at singing, but I'm sure you've heard it from your parents. Look it up on Spotify. So when video was invented, imagine a world where video did not exist. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, I can get a moving picture on a screen. Everybody thought radio is dead. So they made up a song. They said video killed the radio star. But guess what? We're like 60 years later and radio still exists. So a lot of people will think that AI and robotics are going to kill the human input. But I believe the future of technology is going to be driven by humans. We're going to adapt. Our jobs are going to be different. Our roles are going to be different. Schools and universities are going to be different. But it's going to be human-driven. And humans remain the center of the culture and the society on Earth.
A popular opinion online is that AI will take all of our jobs. So do you think that there are any industries that will withstand the rapid rise of AI?
I feel that's an AI question. No. Yes, AI is going to take a lot of jobs, right? We already have, I don't know if you've been to San Francisco or Dallas or New York. Now we're trialing it in Tokyo. We have Waymo cars. Waymo is a part of Google, and these cars drive them. They're an Uber. So you download Waymo on your phone, you ask for a car, and a car comes and picks you up and takes you to where you're going. It's an Uber with no driver. So the Waymo drives itself. So that's already been running for years. Millions of rides, 0 accidents. So yes, AI is going to definitely take truck drivers' jobs. It's definitely going to take taxi drivers' jobs, right? That's done, dusted already. But I'm going to give you an example. AI can now read X-rays. So when you go to a hospital and you have a problem with your lungs, you can get an X-ray, and AI can read that. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, radiologists are people that read X-rays at hospitals. These people, their jobs are gone. because AI is going to take their job. You know what happened over the past 2 years? Radiologists' jobs actually increased rather than decreased. Job postings. So we're hiring more and more radiologists. Why are we hiring more radiologists when AI can do their job? Because guess what? When AI can do the job, now doctors can do more x-rays. So in the past, when you went and you had a nagging pain somewhere, the doctor will think 10 times whether they send you to an x-ray or not. Because if they send you to an x-ray, they know that it's going to take a week for the results to come back. But now when AI can do it instantly, they're more likely to send you for an x-ray. And therefore, they are doing 10 times more x-rays now in the world than they did previously. Why? Because AI is making it so much faster and easier. So AI is making it more accessible. Therefore, it's being used more. Therefore, now we need more radiologists. So rather than AI taking your job, it's actually creating more work that requires more of this job. The video didn't kill the radio star. There's still radio DJs. You guys listen to them in the morning on their way to school, right? They still exist. They still have jobs. And they're talking to a mic. Now we have video. We have iPads. We have the internet. Why haven't their jobs disappeared? So technology, I believe, will come in and complement and change certain industries, change the nature of your job, but at the end of the day, you will still have a job. It might be a different job than what you see today, but it will be a job.
I'm interested to hear your answer, but let's just imagine that AI completely became unavailable for a certain amount of time, let's say a year. What do you think the most companies, or let's say industries, that will be like damaged the most? Or some might be actually some might improve because of that. So what do you think?
That's a very good question. So in technology, so as Google Cloud, when we sell AI, and I've worked with AI with the governments of the UAE, Saudi, Qatar, Kuwait, South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria. There's something called business continuity and disaster recovery. Those are technical terms, but basically, just to give you an example, like when you go to check your email, in case there's a fire where your email is being served or stored, then many times you won't have access to that email. So when we work with governments, we do a disaster recovery plan. We do a business continuity plan. And that means, imagine there's war and building is bombed. Does that mean that all your money disappears? No. We have another country, we have another data center, we have another copy of the information available, and we test this plan every 6 months to make sure. We go in and we actually disconnect the internet and disconnect the power from the building. So we practice what we will do. Instead of going to this office, everybody gets sent an SMS, they go to another office, and they start the process of building the data center from scratch. So there's business continuity and disaster recovery solutions. So I really cannot imagine a world where AI is going to disappear for a year. Okay, because the AI is not one thing. You cannot kill it in one place. It is spread across countries and companies and different power grids and different jurisdictions that no matter what, it's going to continue to be available. But if it does disappear and we don't have a plan B, we will be in trouble because with time, AI is going to be driving, your loan application. AI is going to, when you apply to university, how many of you are applying to universities now? Everybody or not yet? Still too early? You guys, look, next year? All right, good luck with that. Guess what? AI is going to be choosing which students get accepted to university and which don't, right? Because it's going to do a far better job than humans are. So if it disappears and the universities no longer have an admission team that chooses which students get admitted and not, and the AI is not there, then guess what? You're not going to get accepted to university. So I think AI, if it disappears for a year, it'll be a catastrophic event for planet Earth.
Audience today consists of year 12 students and a couple of year 10 students. And all of the students who attended today are interested in computer science or IT. So these year 12 students will be starting the application process Well, we'll start with their personal statements, but they'll actually start applying next year. You can definitely use this session as part of your personal statement and how it impacted you. So I hope that you really paid attention, and we thank you for your time. It was very insightful. It's one thing for them to do their career research online, but to actually have an industry expert come and impart your knowledge is going to be so key and impactful for them as they start that process next year. So we want to thank you again for coming today.
Thank you.
For you, from all of us here at Sunmark School, thank you so much for taking your time and imparting into our students. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And Myra, thank you so much for your time in preparing and being our moderator today. This is for you. For sure. So thank you so much. Again, thank you to our Year 12 students who attended today. Thank you for our staff who helped put this together. Definitely appreciate all of you, and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.